this channel is being further suppressed. Now at first I was sort of thinking it's just the algorithm and stuff like that. But now I'm uploading videos, and these are news related videos on things that happened now, okay? They're listed as news content, or categorised as. And now I'm getting this. Additional review could take 24 hours. I don't know if you can see that on there. This one bottom there. Additional review 24 hours. So I can't monetise. I can't monetise that video. Not until it's been reviewed. It might not take 24 hours. It might take 30 minutes. It might take an hour. It depends on how busy they are. But this is new. I used to have it like, for instance, the checks are taking a little bit longer, and yeah, it doesn't take very long. But this has been going on for over an hour now. You know? And it's, well, that was only 45 minutes ago. And it still isn't ready. Can you see the problem here? What is the point of trying to upload stuff in good time so people get to know about what's going on in good time, or as it happens, and then the checks end up taking absolutely forever, and then I'm getting demonetised. I'm getting several videos. I've never been as bad as this. Or, at the very least, in this case, add suitability. That means there will be no advertising on there that I get paid for. There'll be advertising on there. In fact, one person told me this morning, in the comments, that the ad that they got fed was anti-abortion. Which is totally against the law. I believe in women's rights to make their own choices in life. Why the heck shouldn't they? They're not our subservients. They're not for us to think and trample all over. So no, maybe I should get a choice of what videos, or what adverts, are played on my videos. Maybe you should get a choice. Categories of videos that are, allowed to be played alongside my videos. I'm getting to the point now, well, what's the bloody point? Because, end of the day, if I can't get the videos out there, or I'm not actually getting any funding for them, because this it tops up my income, I have to look somewhere else to top my income, like I was saying the other day. Because it's been going on for some while, but just recently it's got really bad. The censorship is getting horrendous. There's people in my comments saying, we're only getting like 1 in 5 comments that are actually being shown. They're getting censored. Left, right and bloody centre. It's not just on my channel, that's on other channels as well. It's getting beyond a joke. And this morning I was planning to make a load of videos on the basis of clips that I'd saved from last night on Blue Sky, not X, Blue Sky, all sort of, about what's going on in Los Angeles, the raids and the ICE raids and the protests, and the LAPD have been getting involved as well. And they've been deleted. They're not on there anymore. They're gone. They're gone. Now that ain't normal. That's not normal. It didn't used to be like that. And I know I'm not alone, because I know of other YouTubers that have basically just said, sod it, I've had enough now. They've seen their channel take a marked downturn on the basis of, not necessarily of what of their presentation or anything like that. It's just on the basis of the topic. And some topics people get bored with. I used to cover Brexit a lot, and people got bored of that. I uploaded a video about Brexit the other day. It's made ridiculously low views, and it's just like, well, obviously nobody's interested anymore. So it just kind of made me think, what's the point? I might just end up focusing on other stuff, I think, because this channel is dying a death. It really is. I know some people say it's still growing. It's so slow. I watch the stats. I watch the subscriber list, and if I lose more, some days I'm losing more than I'm gaining. Now, maybe they're showing them to the wrong people. People aren't interested in the stuff that I'm talking about. Could be that. But when I see the censorship on my channel, and I know it's not going to be just been me, or have I been red flagged? You see, the thing is, I won't lie. I'm not going to fluff around the edges. I'm not going to I'm quite coarse, alright? If something upsets me, I'll say it's upset me. If I think somebody's a fucking paedophile, I'm going to say that they're a paedophile, alright? I might say alleged as well, but you know, as a whole, I'm not gonna fluff it up. I'm not going to soften it. I'm going to say it as it is, as I see it. I might get it wrong sometimes, you know, like anybody. I'm only human after all. You might misunderstand what I've seen, got the wrong end of the stick or something, you know. I think that's quite normal. If I make a mistake, I will say. But it's just that this censorship is just getting beyond a joke. They're going to go on about freedom of speech, and it's just actually got... There isn't no freedom of speech. There never was any freedom of speech. There are rules around it, and I understand because you know some in the comments did say if the advertisers don't want to be associated with your type of content, well then why should they? I get that, but they're allowing other channels with right-wing content to be monetised. These people are just saying the most crackpot, stir-crazy stuff possible. You've got a fucking president in the United States that says the most crazy, crackpot stuff possible. How are we supposed to have any balance in discussion or debate if one side is being suppressed? There's only the bigger channels out there that seem to be able to push themselves up because, not be funny, the advertisers want those showings because they're getting a huge amount of views. But it doesn't allow any of the smaller YouTubers to be able to make ground. And my channel is smaller now than it was in the first year that I started it up. Okay, I've got more subscribers, but the actual amount of views that I get and the watch time I get is less now than it was in my first year. Just really go down, no matter what I've done. Whereas my other channel, my woodworking channel, has just grown. You know, and my other channels are they're just grown slow, but they're growing. I'm not losing loads of subscribers because it's content, isn't it? You know, it's news-related content. There's one side or the other, isn't there? You know, and sometimes some things have to be said. But where does it end? Where does that leave people? I'm on the verge of giving up on it. I'll be honest with you. I really am. I've been here so many times now. I'm saying I'm never going to make it. I'm never going to get any headway with this, you know. And I feel I'm bashing my head against the wall because at the end of the day, whoever you are regarding news-related content, you are hunting views. People will tell you they're not, but you are. You are hunting views. You need the views. Not just whether or not you're going to get a little bit of money at the end of the month, because it isn't a lot, believe you me, it's a tiny amount. But it just, you know, it kind of like, it makes it a little bit more worthwhile. But the thing is, if it was just about getting the message out, which really is what it is, a side effect is the money really, isn't it? But get the message out. If you're not getting the message out, what's the point? Anyway. You're just in your own little bubble. You're just in your own little catchment. You're feeding the same people all the time. And a lot of the people on this channel who do watch this channel on a regular basis, I'm quite fond of. I've had a relationship with them for quite a long time now. You know, this isn't a young channel, not now. It's over 5-6 years old now. And it's just not getting anywhere. Is it my presentation style? Maybe. Is it me? Maybe. I will be a bit surprised. I know I'm annoying. I know it. You know, I'm not in denial. I know I'm fat. And I know I'm annoying. And the missus will confirm that. But I just feel where should I be putting my energies? And I've got my doubts this is the place I want to do it. I will obviously carry on because I can't help myself, but you know, I will actually just limit myself. I've been here before so many times now, and it's just I was getting to the point where what's the point? It really is. It's very frustrating because I spend quite a bit of money on this. Cameras and stuff like that, you know. This stuff's not cheap, you know. Cameras and microphones, and I'd use it somewhere else, wouldn't I? Anyway, what do you reckon? And if you want to support the channel, which doesn't seem to be a real thing these days, there's the memberships and the super thanks and stuff like that down below. But you know, or buy me a coffee, or the Patreon and that. That's the other thing I write about YouTube, right? Oh, let me just make another point, right? The money that I make on YouTube, 30% of it YouTube takes. 30%. I'll put you off now. But if you do a super thanks, I only get 60% of it. 30% goes to YouTube. Same with the monetisation regarding the views, money for the views, and that 30%. They're rip-off merchants. They really are. And that's why a lot of people do things like Patreon, because the fees for Patreon are relatively small. The fees for buy me coffees are relatively small. The external platforms don't rip you off like this lot. Even when we're doing our rewilding project here in France, we're doing planting trees. If you want to know more about that, there's a link down below. Where we put Simon the tree if you want a tree, basically. And we're planting shitloads of trees, about at least 1,000 trees. It's going to be more than that anyway, on 2 hectares of land that I've got here in France. And it seems pretty important now with all these bloody wildfires, to be honest. And it's about the wildlife anyway, to be honest, as well. Even like GoFundMe and stuff like that we do for that. The fees are small. They're tiny. You know? I respect that. Because they've got to run the platform after all, haven't they? And obviously they've got shareholders and stuff and people that got to be paid. And that's fair enough. But YouTube is massive. Why do they need to charge us 30%? No, it's all about the money. Of course it's about the fucking money. That's how we bloody well survive. And it drives me up the wall when people say that. I'm doing it for the money. I'm not only doing it for the money. I'm doing it because I believe in it. I'm passionate about this. But I can't do it unless I get paid. I just can't. We've all got to eat, you know. I'm not a rich man. Okay, I ain't got a mortgage. I've got a house. I ain't got a mortgage. But, you know, and I've got no debt. But our income is tiny. Luckily, this place is quite cheap to live here in France. The cost of living in France is low. But it's... Anyway, I'm going to have to reassess. That's what I'm going to do. But I think I'm going to do a bit of gardening today if it stops raining. I might even plant some trees. In fact, I might plant some Canadian oaks today. Toodaloo.